Alright folks, Acid Roots back with part 8 of Let's Play Donkey Kong Country 2. So as you could probably tell, this is going to be longer than the first Donkey Kong Country. That one was only 10 episodes, but I definitely felt like doing the rematch to this race, just so I can get the hero coin. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to get every single one of these, but this is just one of the ones that I feel like I should still be able to do. I don't want to, steer off too much to not be able to actually still say I could actually beat this game completely if I wanted to. I mean, it would be kind of arduous to do it, so just, trust in, like, some of the proof that you've seen, like in the last episode where you saw my 102% save file, that, there is the ability there, but, yeah, like I said, just arduous. But, yeah, so this is basically like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. type stuff, with your roommate, your buddies, your girlfriend, something like that, just to kind of, have as like an extra thing as this for like a 3 a.m. jaunt, that sort of stuff. Making frozen pizzas, watching Futurama a little bit later. Maybe you got some extra KFC in the fridge. Yeah, I know how that goes. It's kind of the main thing. But, yeah, this is kind of... But that's the thing, I mean, this type of LP is just so underappreciated on YouTube. That really happens to be the thing. It feels like most people just want to stream with you. I mean, as much as I like streaming, or as much as I used to like streaming, it really feels like that happens way more often than what you might think. So it just feels like most gamers nowadays just automatically convert to streaming. I'm just like, well, you just have to really question if the classic Let's Play is dead, or at least in hugely diminished. So this is the new recording session, but yeah, hugely diminished, and that's not a good sign. I mean, YouTube really needs to tone it down. I really feel like I wish that they would develop like a YouTube classic where you could have videos that were made from before about 2012 or so, or maybe 2013. And everything after that would just be on like the new platform, so you could just dissect some of the videos a little bit better. And eventually, the thing that I would have as like the fulcrum for it would just be always at the halfway point. So if there's been 20 years of YouTube, 10 are YouTube Classic, 10 are YouTube Current, and they should just kind of do that. I mean, that's got to be at least like a $1 million idea or something, folks. You just would have to look at it just to be able to find some of these videos, because I swear, you look for things anymore, and most of the time it's the channels with like millions of followers. Like my channel with less than 100 followers right now doesn't really stand a chance against someone who has like even 50,000 followers. It's just getting... I mean, I should digress on this, but you get the concept. Just, if you find channels like this, you got to appreciate them for fans of smaller YouTube channels, because it's not every day. I mean, you really do have to hunt. So, these birds are annoying. That's the thing. They're always positioned right at the point of making sure that they hit you if you don't act properly. So, I just kind of made sure to not... do that, but there's just so many characters that I do like. Those swamp stages are pretty good. They're a little decent fun to go through, but I think this is like the last one. Maybe there's one more, but yeah, that's how I liked about this game, is despite the fact that you weren't in the world. I mean, I think the first Donkey Kong Country did that a little bit also, but they would have like stage types that would show up in different worlds, despite the fact that it didn't fit with the world's theme. Like the swamps world was of course World 3, but you're still seeing a few of these in World 4. And like, not to spoil anything for people who haven't played this game entirely, but you're going to see one of the beehive stages in World 5. So this is kind of... I liked how they did that sort of stuff. Just not to say that everything was so all or nothing about some of that stuff. It's kind of slick. I wish more video games did that. Like, I don't know if Mario ever did that concept, but I think it's pretty clever, Just so you don't forget. I feel like if you learn new tricks in World 3, World 4, World 5 or something, and you stop using that technique just in the next world, it's like, well, you know, that's just like amnesia with some of that stuff. We shouldn't be forgetting something that we use so much in just the previous world that quickly. So I do encourage like better long-term memory in video games. It's definitely good. So but I am going to try to do a handful of these bonus stages. I mean, this always depends. I mean, this depends upon if I remember them. I mean, obviously without the guidebook, I'm not going to remember every single one, but I don't know if I don't know. You know, this would be a real trial. So, but yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what game I'm going to do after this. I'm thinking about messing with Crash Team Racing. I do want to get a hold of that game. And I do also have Parasite Eve, but I think that's a pretty lengthy game for me to actually... I mean, I've never even played that game before, so for me to just play it first time and beat it first time, I kind of feel like, you know, that might be a little bit tougher for me to do. So, but, yeah, I definitely want to mess with Crash Team Racing. And that's the thing, that's a pretty enjoyable game. Reminds me a lot of Mario Kart, which is a decent game, but it's the thing about Crash Bandicoot is they don't shy away from the fact that he's kind of an ass, and that's kind of the situation. Is he just has like a different kind of, I mean, at least like the Donkey Kong characters were kind of chipper and had smiles on their faces, but with Crash, it's this, you kind of get like the sense that like he's stoned or something or on drugs. It just feels like he's really like strung out. I mean, he just always has like this loopy look about him. And it's not to say, I mean, I know obviously there are kids who like him, but he just seems like he's like on some sort of even like a sugar high or something, you know. But that was kind of stupid right there. Just jump right. So you might want to use Dixie for this. This might help a little bit more just because the ponytail move makes it so much easier. A lot of the jumps that would be extremely difficult with Diddy are just that much simpler to kind of do. So, I mean, honestly, you know, some folks would say like Dixie breaks the game, but it just kind of makes it to where you don't have to try as hard. So that's moreover. But I'm honestly surprised I haven't seen like an all Diddy run of this game yet. You know, something like that where you have to only be him or you get hit and just, you know, do something like that, a no-hit run, something. With all the speed runs that I see, I mean, that's kind of what YouTube has become also, is, you know, kind of like a challenge place. I don't know, I saw some person on YouTube, and this got, of course, it got like millions of hits, but some person did like a no-hit run of Super Punch-Out. It's like, come on. We don't need to sit there and act. I mean, that's raising the bar too high, I would have to say, because that's already a tough enough game just to suppose that some person that can actually beat that damn game, which probably most people, I'd say there probably would only be like maybe 1 in like 8,000 that can actually beat that game on normal terms. But then to sit there and suppose that there's like a lucky sort that can beat that whole game, including Nick Bruiser and the Super Macho Man, that can actually do it without getting hit at all. It may not have been getting hit, it might have been just without getting knocked down even once, but I'm fairly certain it was without, I don't know. It was some challenge that, you know, was beyond, like, decent, beyond regular skill set to be able to do. So that's just kind of, I mean, if it was a no-hit run, I'd really have to say that that's something, but, I mean, there's probably challenge runs out there, I mean. That's the thing. I mean, even with like the Guinness Book of World Records, I mean, honestly, it's not like all the records that people are breaking anymore. You can afford to put every single Guinness in there, because there'd be a Guinness just about video games, because there's over 1,000 video games. There's some challenge that every person could do for one of those. Some challenge that every person could do for basketball, football, baseball, that sort of stuff. This really goes pretty damn crazy as far as that would actually go. So, but I'm kind of starting to ramble a bit. I need to talk a little bit more about the game, but It's kind of basic. I mean, like I said, this is the other beehive stage, but you're not done with these. So, but yeah, you're actually having to jump downward. That was a new introduced concept. So, yeah, get used to that. If you don't want to come back to this stage and have to keep doing it. Yep. Trying to think what else has been going on. I really am fiending for some nacho fries from Taco Bell. I mean, they always have those around at like limited times, but the nacho cheese is just so good. I really wish that they sold that at stores, because I would just buy that. I mean, I know Taco Bell knows that cheese is damn good. I mean, they charge 60 cents for it individually, and I know 60 cents isn't much, but it can be the difference between it costing a little bit more when, you know, you buy a taco. Like I used to back in the day, I would get like crunchy tacos, and then I would put nacho cheese on the crunchy tacos as opposed to just the shredded cheese that they use. But whole thing is they would charge 60 cents for basically each taco that you did that for. I think that's how it was. So just getting two 80-cent tacos wound up being $1.20 more on top of that, because you put some nacho cheese on there. So that adds up, you know, 60 cents plus, you know, that's kind of, so basically you're paying $10 just for 5 tacos, basically. So, but, yeah, I've been fiending for nacho fries, but I don't know how much longer they're going to be around. And, I need to get a hold of them. I mean, I think they're on like the 4th or 5th iteration. They've been doing it since 2018, but I kind of feel like I haven't caught every single time, and this is so low key. I mean, I really wish that there'd be commercials for when nacho fries are back. Maybe I just need to start watching channels like MTV and VH1 a little bit more, but I just do not see the advertisement. And you really have to be driving around, and you have to be near a Taco Bell. I just get so tired sometimes of some of this low-key stuff, as far as like you don't know unless you look for it. I mean, there is so many people nowadays just have such problems with promotion. I like reading in the newspaper, hey, Taco Bell's nacho fries are back, as opposed to having to drive by Taco Bell and have the off chance of it being on their billboard. That's just kind of the thing. So, I mean, you can't ask the clerks at the drive-thru every single time, are nacho fries back? I mean, eventually they're going to start getting annoyed with it. So this is, but yeah, so I'm just, once again, I'm rambling, just getting pissed off for no reason. But, you know, I kind of want some nacho fries, you know, just thinking about it. But this bee is a bastard. Not at this particular stage, but once you start beating him a little bit more, he'll start to he'll shrink into a different size, and that's where it kind of gets tricky. So, but yeah, so they, like, if you haven't played Donkey Kong Country 3, they do like these transformation battles a lot more in the 3rd one. So you don't really fight you know, every single boss in the 3rd game as the chimps. I mean, I'm talking like you haven't played the 3rd one, but for those who haven't, just know they do like that sort of gimmick stuff. That's kind of the theme of the 3rd game. Like, the theme of the 2nd game was the pirate stuff, and it was also darker, I would say, as like a secondary theme. The stages of worlds were just a little bit more kind of gloomy, but this one, or the 3rd game, was just more about the gimmicks and like the I'm trying to think of the word for it, like the approach changes. They kind of changed the approach for how stuff happened. Like, you would have stages where they'd be in reverse and stuff, and I didn't get that when I was younger back in the 90s. I didn't understand that that's what the 3rd game was about. I was like, where's my pirate theme? I thought they were gonna do like, you know, like a space theme next time or something, but they just, you know, it's different for then. Alright, so subscribe for more fun. Stay tuned for part 9. Have a wonderful night.